And we are back with a new episode of Real Talk.
It feels good to be back. I mean, last week's episode was, and then we're in a different drop back tonight, and yeah, we got an exciting show ahead.
Coming back with that consistency, aren't we, Dave?
Yeah,
every
week by week.
We weren't joking when we were saying we were back.
No, I think some people might have doubted us.
I know, we've been hustling
we're
over
here
summer.
to prove you wrong. Nice little change in the studio as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Let's get on with the show then. What do we have?
So we were geeking out about October long before the month was coming ahead. You know, we've had an amazing run of movies. We've had A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
Even though Venom didn't quite hit the expectations, but
didn't.
Still a blockbuster.
Yeah, we had Venom, we had A Star Is Born, and also later on in the month we have another film we'll talk about later, Halloween, of course. But then we had two films drop this past weekend, and that was First Man.
First Man and Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yeah.
We've both seen First Man.
Yeah, we both seen First Man, and should we just give our review of it right now?
Yeah, let's have a chat about it. So you just watched it right now.
Yeah,
so you're
an hour
fresh.
ago. Yeah,
you're pretty fresh with it.
For those of you who don't know, First Man is a story about the first man to walk on the moon. Neil Armstrong. I don't know why I forgot his name for a second. It's directed by Damian Chazelle, who previously directed Whiplash, La La Land. Only difference between those two films to this one, he actually didn't write this film.
Right.
And it's basically about Neil Armstrong's journey, and really his struggle in his personal life and his work life, trying to get NASA off the ground, literally.
Yeah.
To get to the moon, and it's really at its heart, it's really a story about failure, if you will. Failure, and then a trial by error.
Loneliness.
And it's...
And Ryan Gosling being quiet as hell.
Quiet. Well, that's what kind of character I guess you get nowadays with Ryan Gosling.
We were just having this discussion before, weren't we? About... It's not necessarily a bad thing that Ryan Gosling is typecast as this awkward, isolated character.
Yeah.
Because he can do things that many other actors in this generation can't, in that he can display emotions and feelings without saying any words and connect with an audience.
His facial expressions, it's weird to talk about somebody's facial expressions, but him and Tom Hardy, those two, those are who you want in front of the camera.
They're the go-to guys for those kind of quiet, quirky characters.
And I can't speak for you, but for me personally, I'll first of all, we'll start with Damian Chazelle. I loved Whiplash. I really loved La La Land.
One of the best films ever made for me.
I had high expectations for this movie. Sadly, this movie, for me, didn't meet it. Didn't meet those expectations. I still came out of this movie thinking that it was good.
Yeah.
There was problems in there, and we'll talk about those problems. Overall, I would really recommend people to go out and see it.
Yeah, I think if you're a fan of cinema, we don't have to convince you to go and watch
that. No,
of
course not.
We all know how talented of a filmmaker Damian Chazelle is and the promise he has. The guy's 32 years old. Yeah. He's put out 3 films. This is going to get nominated for an Oscar. Of course it's going to get nominated for an Oscar.
It's kind of that Oscar bait kind of movie.
100%. And it's not one of those... I didn't walk out of it thinking, they've gone for it there and they failed massively. It just didn't have that power punch.
There wasn't a certain magic behind it
that
you had with the other 2 films. And even I still haven't seen A Star Is Born, but even there was magic in that film, as you were saying.
There was charisma of the characters, you know. There was a certain element of charm of the characters in that movie between Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, and the charm was apparent in La La Land, and the idea of it's a similar sort of story about like an underdog story in Whiplash and First Man, but everyone can relate to. Miles Teller's character in Whiplash. Nobody can relate really to Ryan Gosling's character.
The way Ryan Gosling's character, Neil Armstrong, was written, it felt like they were trying to present the real character that is Neil Armstrong.
It's not.
It does not work in the cinematic.
No, it's not set for a Hollywood film, is it at all?
No.
I just said to you before that this story could have been told in about 30 minutes in a documentary format, and it would have been very successful. But what you wouldn't get in that documentary, having said that, are the absolute stunning set pieces when he's training in the beginning. One of the best.
The opening scene. It begins with him working with NASA, doing some simulator. A test for NASA, an aeronautical test, and it was riveting. It was exciting. It started off. It made me think that the movie was going to be at that constant pace throughout.
The adrenaline pumping action.
And I will say there are moments again that match that, the adrenaline pumping.
But it's just it pulls you in. You know, your heart's pumping for a second, and then the scenes at home, they just don't. They just don't have that emotional power that other films like A Star Is Born have. Like, I'm totally gripped. I don't want to be the guy like in these Real Talk reviews where every week I'm going to be comparing a film to A Star Is Born.
Sure,
but that's the most recent dramatic film that's really hit me. So I think it's fair to compare it to that, and it's going to go up against it in the Oscars.
Of course, yeah.
So,
and when you're looking at the quality of those two films, what really stands out for you in those is the characters.
100%.
And how I felt about Neil Armstrong was that because he was so colorless, because he was so bland, no matter how great, and it is great, the cinematography, the music even, and some of the set pieces, what we're talking about,
they were awesome,
everything with the moon was phenomenal. You actually felt like you were on the moon a couple times, but no matter how good that is, you never feel... Neil Armstrong is never relatable.
But it's a very interesting... It's really interesting to me that there is a common consensus that it's difficult to attach to his character emotionally, because the opening few moments, this isn't a spoiler to anybody, because you know it's a real life story. His daughter dies tragically at a young age, and you see him. To be fair, you know, you see him connecting with this daughter in a way that you haven't seen connect with anyone in the film since. No. So he does have his personality stripped of him early on in the film, but that's at the expense of the audience's entertainment, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and so to summarize, no matter how phenomenal that Grandesque moments are, when he lands on the moon, you don't really find yourself cheering, because the real problem with the story, with the script, is the characters.
Why should we care?
And spoiler, I guess, when they land on the moon, you want to be cheering. You want to be leaping at every seat. And although it was tense for when they were trying to land, when you finally see the character's moment, the payoff, if you will, of him finally accomplishing that goal,
you feel like you've got out of an endurance test.
Yeah,
that's what
and if you will, it's anticlimactic in that sense.
True.
And I will still recommend people to go see it, because it is technically incredible. If you're a cinephile like us, it's on the must-watch list.
I feel bad, though, because I feel like we've just slated it for 5 minutes. But no. There's so many positives to take away from it, but it's one of those where we've both been so hyped and excited for it, because I know in your case that Damian Chazelle is one of your favourite.
Oh, at the moment,
and for me too. So it's one of those where when your expectations are going to be that high, you're always going to be disappointed. You're always going to be disappointed.
I'm just disappointed Neil Armstrong didn't break out and do some jazz music and start singing. Like, where was the jazz music, Damian Chazelle? You don't want to see that?
I don't want to see
that.
Could
have been interesting, little take.
I'd see
First Man the musical. That's what it could have been.
Get Miles Teller in there. Get Miles Teller on the moon.
But yeah, overall, although it did have problems, go out and see First Man. Let us know what you thought about it. You can tweet at us.
Tweet us, please.
And talk about it. Even if you think we're wrong, we want to hear about what your thoughts are.
Yeah, 100%.
Really. And the second film that came out last weekend was
Bad Times at the El Royale, which was... I went watching it last night, actually, so it's very fresh in my memory. It's from the same director as Cabin in the Woods.
Drew Goddard.
So it has that ensemble vibe that draws a lot of comparisons to Quentin Tarantino's films in this case. In this case, it reminds me a hell of a lot of The Hateful Eight. So basically, the short premise of this film, which I'm sure you've all seen in the trailers, are that a group of characters are drawn to the El Royale for various differing reasons, which you'll find out throughout the film. It's sort of set out in chapters. So in terms of how Tarantino does it in chapters, it's set room by room from each character's perspective.
So different installments within the movie.
Yeah, so it says room 5, and it's this person's backstory. And a crime has took place at the El Royale 10 years prior to these characters getting to the hotel, and we've got to work out with the characters why this is coming full circle, why they've all been drawn to the El Royale. And those of you that are expecting Chris Hemsworth to be the pivotal part of this film, to be like the mainstay throughout the film, you're going to be mistaken.
Really?
He comes in quite late in the film. He's always in the background, but his presence is felt much later on.
Now, I wasn't able to see this movie, so if you don't mind, I'm going to ask a couple questions that I have on my mind.
Sure.
So the trailers really hooked me on the fact of two things. One, it seemed like it was going to be have a unique twist. Not twist, but a unique tale.
Yeah.
And the crime horror. I don't want to say horror, but you know, that crime genre.
It's a murder mystery. It reminded, basically, this was everything I wanted Murder on the Orient Express to be last year. Had a great ensemble cast. You know, we have John Hamm, Chris Hemsworth,
Jeff Bridges.
Dakota
Johnson as well.
So you have a lot of people that you'd forget just because they've not been at the forefront of the advertising.
Because everybody's in it, right?
Yeah, and there's characters that you expect, like I said, Chris Hemsworth, that you expect to be present throughout the film that aren't. It's not a conventional film at all. The way the story's told, drawing back to the Quentin Tarantino comparisons, it's non-linear, so it's jumping between different periods of time in the film. And what's so great about this film, Damian, is that when things start to go quite awful for certain characters in the film, it then goes back to a different chapter, and you get to see that piece of action take place from every character's perspective.
So that connection.
So you see what that person was missing and the other person was missing. So you're learning on the go with these characters. It's pretty much like a game of Cluedo, and you're playing.
That sounds interesting to me,
and it's awesome.
And so another thing I was going to add, you're talking about the Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
And one thing that I found that film lacked was chemistry amongst the characters.
Yeah.
How was the chemistry amongst the characters in this? How are the characters actually fleshed out?
The characters are very fleshed out. Now, the film clocks in about 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is a long time for casual moviegoers, definitely. It's going to take some convincing. Although for the ladies, it's got Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, that's enough.
And John
Hamm.
Yeah, let's not forget about John Hamm.
Of course. And for the men, you got Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, which is good. Good enough for me. But yeah, in terms of the characters being fleshed out, there is the opening sequence which explains what is going on, what mystery has happened at the El Royale. Then it really takes time to, get the audience accustomed with each character. So it's about, I'd say, 40 minutes after the opening sequence, a solid 40 minutes ground building with these characters. And then, just when you think, I want it to get going, then it's non-stop from there. So you do have to be patient with it, and it's worthwhile because you do end up caring a lot about these characters. But in the first half an hour, I was thinking it felt longer than it actually was, and I was thinking, I hope it turns this back around. I hope it does, because I had a feeling after having watched First Man, where it is very stop-start with its pacing, this film doesn't have pacing issues. It just takes its time to make the audience care and invest with these characters, and you actually do, which is surprising.
I mean, that's really what the dividing factor is between this and First Man, which leads me to my final question. If you were going to recommend our Real Talk viewers one film to go see this weekend, what film would that be out of First Man and Bad Times at Royale? I'm not saying compare the two, but which one would you say go out and watch?
I think I had an amazing time with Bad Times at the El Royale, but I'm very curious to see what people make of First Man, just because of the talent involved, Damien Chazelle, Ryan Gosling, the amount of hype it's had beforehand. People will go and watch Bad Times at the El Royale, but we're not going to deter anyone away from watching First Man. People want to watch that film, and I think this is one of the most engaging and fun discussions of a film this year.
Sure, and it's really interesting because really, that's not even the best. These aren't even the most exciting films one can consider coming out this month. I mean, we also have Halloween coming
tomorrow.
At the end of this month. Tomorrow.
Thursday today. Yep.
Oh yeah, you're right. Tomorrow. Oh man,
bro,
this month's gone by way too fast.
I've not had the chance to get in the mood for Halloween as well as like a time of year. Like, I am a horror guy. I love horror
Everything's
movies.
been clicking so fast this year, and
even when we were at Grimfest, I wasn't getting like nerdy about it as well.
I think really that has to do with how fast paced this year has been. We're talking about pacing issues with First Man.
I know. I think
definitely has been pacing issues.
Been growing up a lot, haven't we? I know. I've got a job or two, and you're back at uni.
So. And I've got another job now. Working
you've got a job.
35 hours.
We're both working men now.
Yeah, that's hard, but hey, we're still dedicated.
Yeah, we are dedicated. We're going out of our way to do this.
And so
it's our fun. This
is fun, and I think the fun is also really trying to talk about what we love and didn't like about movies.
Exactly.
And even though it might sound like we were slaying First Man, we weren't.
No, we weren't.
But we enjoyed talking about some of the things that we felt could work better.
It just makes me feel better that I'm not an absolute heartless arse, to be honest.
Unlike Neil Armstrong acted sometimes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, going back to Halloween...
Yeah, let's talk about this,
This is kicking off the Halloween season properly this month for regular cinema goers.
Goosebumps 2 is also out tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about the real Halloween film.
Halloween, the original one, didn't really... I'm trying to remember. What year did it come out?
It was 1978,
I believe. 78? I was pretty positive it was later on.
Google that. I'll Google that later.
But I was never a big fan of the original. Yeah. I know that is almost blasphemous to say.
I think that's our generation, though, Damian, because I've spoke to a lot of people our age, and they are big film fans like the two of us, and I actually watched it properly for the first time last week. I'm probably going to get stoned to death for saying that. But I completely agree with you. I think it's just a case of timing. If we were back then in the 70s, that was groundbreaking for its time.
So I'm really interested now to see how John Carpenter's
producing this one.
Yeah, he's producing. He's not directing it. But I'm interested to see how this film, regardless if he's directing or not, I mean, if that's still going to have his touch. Because even though he is producer, we see plenty of times with these...
He's back on the soundtrack again. He is
doing the soundtrack.
Redefined it for this new film.
Jamie Lee Curtis is back again.
Yeah.
For the first time since Halloween 2.
I'm excited. And it's pretty good as well, because I thought... I'm going to have to watch 11 other movies before this.
No, not at all.
But it's the direct sequel to the original, which is awesome.
Which is great for me, because I still haven't seen Halloween 2,
It's great for everyone else as well, because if you're young, up-and-coming film geeks like us two, all you have to do is watch one film beforehand.
Yeah, and that makes it easy for everyone. I am excited for it, especially because it's Halloween season. We have heard great things.
Really great things.
I've heard some iffy things. So I'm right now where
I'm sitting
things
from good sources, though.
Great things from good sources. A few friends of mine who live stateside have been able to watch it.
And what did they say?
One, I won't say his name because I don't know if he's allowed to tell me, said that he liked it a lot, but if you didn't like the original, you might not be the biggest fan.
Right.
But I've heard that before with other films.
Having said that, though, we both love what Blumhouse is doing with the horror genre at the moment, and they're definitely going to have their own stamp on the franchise.
And who knows, maybe what we didn't necessarily like about Halloween, I felt it was a little bit campy. Some of the scares didn't really grab me.
Michael Myers driving around in a car all day.
It just wasn't, and I reckon though, staying on like the modern world perception, they might change up the horror elements.
Yeah.
So if he's saying that if you didn't like the original, you might not like this, maybe what he's saying is that they tried to keep some of the elements but modernize it.
Yeah.
Which might... Well, I'm excited to see it.
What are your thoughts on Michael Myers as a villain? Because, for me, he didn't scare me in the original, but I had a really messed up nightmare last night. And it was like a reimagining of Halloween, and Michael Myers was chasing me around, and I woke up scared of him.
Well, first of all, anytime that any of my friends as a kid would talk about Michael Myers, I thought they were actually talking about Mike Myers.
Mike Myers, we all made
growing up, I was like, Mike Myers, why is this guy scary? Saw the film,
Austin Powers.
and Austin Powers, yeah, why is this guy scary? And I do like Michael Myers. The issue is, though, we are talking the generations, really. We have different ideas of villains and what really scares us.
I think our generation was more the paranormal and demonology and things like that, like the Witch, Hereditary, those family-based dramas, even Paranormal Activity to a certain extent. I remember when that came out, and that scared me as a kid.
They're very different to what 1970s, 1980s horror films are really different to what they are nowadays, which really changes my perception of horror. When I see a movie like Halloween, my perception of horror, what I expect, is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because back then it was a bit more creepy, now it's more jump scares.
Slashers had a time where they were at the height of the horror genre, like you said, 70s, 80s. Then the 90s, they were getting killed off in the early 90s. Then Scream got that revival.
Yes.
Made people believe that they wanted to see more slashers, and it quickly hit its demise again.
Yeah.
With the thing with horror is that we have eras of different styles of horror. So we have the slasher era, the torture porn era.
Now we've
found footage era.
Now paranormal horror is more popular than probably any genre before this, considering how much money is being made.
Yeah.
But
I like how they're trying to bring the slashers back.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it as long as they keep it. As long as they keep it fresh, keep it good.
You know what Jason Blum said as well? He said that he wants to gain the rights to Nightmare on Elm Street Friday the 13th and the Alien franchises, which would be awesome.
Let's see how this one goes.
Yeah.
If I'm able to see, the issue is you're trying to bring back these old franchises, which really died out for a reason, which was they weren't. I think
Nightmare on Elm Street could work for the modern audience.
Oh, no, and I'm not saying it couldn't. I'm just saying, if you're going to do all this, let's just make sure your first hit project, which is Halloween, because it will be
it's coming from it's got to come from a good, passionate place.
Let's just see where we go from here. But otherwise, yeah, full steam ahead on that if this works out well.
And we got Danny McBride. He's actually one of the producers on this. You know,
really?
Danny McBride.
I didn't know the comedian actor.
Yeah,
that's I didn't know that.
He was he was in college, and I'm pretty sure he wrote a screenplay with the other guy that.
And that. No, I'm remembering this. This film is slightly based off that screenplay.
Yes.
Okay,
sure.
This is why I was like, wait, why didn't I know about this?
But he obviously had a presence in Alien as well, so he's a horror. Covenant. He's a horror nerd at his core, which is good. And hopefully, from the positive reviews we've seen, it's showing to come from a good place.
Let's hope so.
Also, we've got some. Right, this is where it gets fun. The news time, Damian.
So, news time. Real talk news time.
We've got Idris Elba in Hobbs and Shaw. Which have you seen the picture of?
Yeah, it's on The Rock's Instagram. He looks badass.
Yes.
I am still not so optimistic about the movie personally because I wasn't a big fan of Fast and Furious 8. I do love 5 and 6. I think 5 and 6 are incredible.
7 might be passable.
7's I say 7's pretty good.
I cried at
everyone did.
We all did.
And I think the main thing is The Rock's presence in those movies really drove literally the films for me.
Come out with the puns.
I know, I'm rattling them off. And I love The Rock. I also love Jason Statham.
Badass.
Best part of the Meg this year. And they both... The thing is...
Don't even mention that.
No, I know. But the thing about this film, Idris Elba just brings home more cash for this. This film will make over $1 billion.
Yeah, probably will.
I mean,
The Rock is the biggest movie star in the world.
Jason Statham.
Yeah,
and now you've got Idris Elba.
Everyone loves Idris Elba as well. So
this screams anything but bad.
And he's not played a lot of villains, has he? Like, obviously, he started off in The Wire. That was what got him to prominent fame. And then he sort of went down the way of Luther. Yeah. He was in Star Trek. Was it Into the Beyond?
He was into the Beyond.
But he was under prosthetic makeup.
And you know what, though? I thought he played a really great villain in that role, a really menacing. You can say the acting, it'd be hard to say, but his voice really commanded that presence. So let's see what he brings.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. We've also got the main characters who played the Warrens in the Conjuring franchise, the main actors, must I say?
Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson, you got me, brother. Back for Annabelle 3, as well as The Conjuring 3.
Well, here's my thing. I would much rather see them in Conjuring 3.
No, they are going to be in that.
No, but I'm saying I'm more excited for that before they try and push this Annabelle 3.
So you just want to see a Conjuring 3 first?
That's really... I feel like they're trying to do too much right now. Yeah. Because it's been... when did Conjuring 2 come out? Was that 2015? 2016? Mm. It's been a couple of years. We've still yet to have an official release date.
19.
2020.
They're
saying 2020. That's not set in stone yet.
Is it 19 or 20?
No, it's 2020.
So Annabelle 3
they were talking about it with The Nun.
Yeah.
And now, what was it, The Nun?
The Nun, yeah.
Carrying on. I want to get away from that film so much. Yeah. And I'm excited for them because they are the best characters in the Conjuring franchise, hands down.
Patrick Wilson is an awesome actor.
Great actors.
And Farmiga as well.
And Farmiga's sister was in The Nun. Which, I can't believe I said that movie's name again.
Yeah.
But her sister was great in that.
She's a good actress as well. She's in American Horror Story, isn't she?
I
the first season. Yeah, she is.
She's
got a background in the horror genre as well. And she said she's a big fan of it. She's grown up watching it. So
who knows though? Maybe The Nun 2 can have that Annabelle creation vibe where the second one's way better than the first.
There's a film, so basically James Wan isn't directing The Conjuring 3.
No.
He's handpicked a director.
I don't remember his name.
I can't remember the guy's name, but he's actually got a film coming out. The trailer just got released for it today.
Okay.
So
we'll see where that goes.
That's something to keep an eye out. We'll post that trailer later today, actually, on Real Talk, and we'll get your opinions.
On the Twitter, so make sure you follow us at Twitter, at Real Talk Keys.
Yes, exactly. And the YouTube channel, we need the subscribers.
Yeah. Everyone's going to subscribe anyways,
eventually,
right, guys?
Yeah.
I see you all.
This is when we're at like 4 subscribers. We're going to be hitting those 4K subscribers soon. Television. Now, this is an area where we would love to talk about more often, but we just don't have
It's hard.
the time.
It really, I mean, last
we're big
episode,
TV guys as well.
Oh, yeah. And last week, obviously, we had a big episode. It was really long. And we were gushing about a lot of things then. This week, too, we really want to gush about
We're being concise
TV.
this week.
This week, yes. We got a few TV news pieces.
The news is that Daredevil Season 3 starts tomorrow.
Yeah, it starts on the Friday, which tomorrow's the 19th, if I'm correct. Is it the 19th?
The 19th, yeah.
Yeah, all the days are blending together now.
Yeah, we don't even know. We don't even know if it's October or...
It's October or November. Has Halloween come out yet?
I don't even know. Christmas. Time to watch Elf.
I am still... you can watch Elf whenever.
No,
it doesn't
Christmas,
need to be.
November. It's a rule.
But Daredevil Season 3... I still need to watch Daredevil Season 2.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Season 1 there. Fair enough.
I've seen Season 1. Have
you seen any of the adverts or anything?
For season 3? I haven't because I've been sticking away because I really want to watch Daredevil Season 2.
Well, yeah, I don't want to spoil anything.
No, talk about it.
Wilson Fisk is back in Season 3.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Like crying on the inside.
I knew about that.
That's going to be awesome.
From Twitter hype and all that. I've stayed away from many like still images.
Yeah, I've stayed away from the trailers because I'm just ready to binge watch that. Sure. I'm going to finish Maniac tonight, which I'm going to touch on in a minute.
Well, hopefully we'll also be able to watch Daredevil Season 3 and I can watch Daredevil Season 2.
You need to watch Season 2, bro, because John Bernthal absolutely kills it.
I've seen The Punisher, which is the weird thing. I've seen The Punisher, but I've not seen all of Season 2. So
is it? I want to know from the fans' perspective here. Is it arguable? Is it okay to say that John Bernthal is a lot more violent in Daredevil Season 2 than he is in the actual Punisher show? That's what I want to know because I believe he's actually
brutal in the Punisher, though.
Bro, you want to see a prison fight?
Really?
In Season
is it crazy?
2. It is one of the sickest, most coolest things.
Well, hopefully for
TV.
Next week's episode, we can talk about Season 3. We can both review it.
And Season 2.
And Season 2. I'll talk a little about Season 2. But
speaking of the Marvel Netflix universe as well, Iron Fist got cancelled.
Good.
Which isn't a surprise to anybody considering the awful reviews it was getting.
No. Season 1 was a bore. I barely could finish Season 2.
It's just a shame for what they were trying to build on Netflix. But one of the spokespeople who's overseeing that universe has said that this isn't the end for Iron Fist. So he's probably going to be in the Defenders season 2.
What they're going to try and do from now on is try to couple him up with the more successful people. So Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, maybe not so much with Daredevil. We'll see if he's going to be...
Have you seen Jessica Jones?
I have. I've not seen Season 2 yet.
What do you think of Season 1?
Season 1 was awesome.
Really?
I love Kilgrave. I love Jessica Jones. And I felt like she was able to really lead that series, which is what I needed, and that is definitely not what you got with Iron Fist. I'm forgetting the actor's name, but he just—I don't know what it was about the show. There was just
played Kilgrave.
No, Iron Fist.
Oh, sorry, I thought you went about David Tennant.
No. And I really feel sad for not knowing his name, but yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Iron Fist.
I thought he turned it around a bit in the Defenders, though. He became like a more prominent and
sure, but you could say that's because he's bouncing off of other people. And he can't lead the show on his own, definitely. And I think even the people who liked Season 2 of Iron Fist will say that it did
get more favourable reviews, didn't it?
No, it got more favourable reviews by...
It's not hard.
No, but yeah, so... Okay, but let's see how we can build this character on top of the other series that we have going on. Maybe he's in Season 3. I don't know if he's in the trailers.
Punisher Season 2 confirmed as well. Yeah. So John Bernthal's got a big future in that universe as well.
Well, sticking on Netflix shows, I'll gush for maybe 2 minutes, a minute about the show you all need to watch called The Haunting of Hill House. So, The Haunting of Hill House is a Netflix show which I just happened to turn on because I saw that it was new. The premise seemed interesting. It's got the guy who played the kid in E.T.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, and it's also got the mother from Spy Kids. And I wasn't expecting anything at all from the show. Really? What it's about is this family moves into this house called Hill House. And it's set in the beginning of the show, it's set in the 1990s era. And this family moves in so they can try and rebuild the house so they can turn it over and make a lot of money because it's a big mansion. But what they soon find out is that shortly after moving in, there's a really dark secret in this house that haunts this family forever. And it goes back and forth between the modern day, so today, and the 1990s, living in the house for the several days that they were in. I was not expecting anything from the show. In fact, after the first episode, when I thought that it was good, I was like, okay, let's see it go downhill from here. Okay. This show is the best show I've seen all year.
Wow.
The characters are fleshed out. You care about them. The horror elements are frightening. I don't know how to explain it other than frightening. There's moments where I watched it in the space of 16 hours.
You finished it?
I finished it in 16 hours. Wow. 10 episodes. They last sometimes longer than an hour or around 50 minutes. The characters are incredible. The set pieces. So the house was actually built on a set. So on a sound stage. So they really knew what they can do with each individual room in the house. They were really able to craft this house as a living being. Okay? Then we flip back to the modern day. We're trying to figure out what happened in this house 20 years ago that's really haunting this family today. And it's very much so a family drama mixed with a horror show.
Which is proving to be a very successful formula at the moment.
Very successful. And this is what makes The Conjuring great. But the difference between this and The Conjuring is that The Conjuring can be great for an hour and 30 minutes and hook you in.
Yeah.
This show sets out to be great for 12 and a half hours. And it is great. The acting is superb. There's not really much I can say about the plot other than what I've said. It unravels, if you will, episode by episode. The first 5 episodes are based on the children that are moved into the house. So one by one episode's about a certain child, another episode's about another child, so on and so forth. You really connect with
And that's where television really is successful.
It really is. There's a scene in episode 8, for the first 16 minutes in this funeral home. It is all one shot. In fact, they had to rehearse for 6 weeks to get a 16-minute one shot.
That's got to be some sort of record.
It is a record. It is a record for any television, for any motion picture. And
that's really impressive.
It topples one thing after another, episode by episode. It just gets better and better. When I finished this show, I felt like I was satisfied with everything it built up. There wasn't an episode at all which I felt like, yeah, that was the worst, that was the weakest. And there's not many times you can say that about a show from back to end.
Does it set itself up for a second season, do you think?
People are clamoring for a second season. You can do a second season. The way season 1 ends, you can't continue that story. Right. If you continue this story, it's really going to ruin the magic that was in the first season. So I would like it to go the True Detective route, anthology series.
Right, fair enough.
So we'll see. Yes, but I recommend that. Best series of the year, hands down.
I've also got a show to recommend. We're just going to do a switcheroo after this. I think you're going to watch Maniac.
I'm going to watch Maniac. Yeah, tell me about Maniac. You've been gushing about this to me.
Absolutely amazing. It's from our boy Fukunaga.
Yeah, Cary Fukunaga.
Who is on an absolute hot streak at the moment. Just landed the James Bond director's role.
We'll see for how long though.
That's a whole different conversation.
No, it's all but there's a reason why he got
100%. You just said about True Detective then, which season 1 is one of the best single seasons of television I've ever seen. So going into Maniac, I had very high expectations for it, and with the career choices that Jonah Hill's been having, I have more than enough faith in him.
Sure.
And Emma Stone is one of the best actresses on the planet, and she proves it again in this show. So in terms of the plot, it's quite simple really. 2 characters really, really down on their luck in life. In the near future, sort of like a Blade Runner-esque future. Not that futuristic, but it's going down that route.
Sure.
In terms of the way how social interactions between people is really, really diminishing, but technology is getting a lot better. And Jonah Hill is this massive introvert who just feels completely invisible in his family, and he needs something to cure his depression and get him away from his own head, because it's not a nice place to be at all. In the same way, Emma Stone has had a horrific past, which you learn about in the show, and they both sign up for a basically testing out a new drug in this new scheme, and they both get on to this scheme, which is completely shut off from the outside world. They have to live in a laboratory
behind closed doors.
Have to live in a laboratory for the remainder of the show, really.
Okay.
And each episode is basically like an anthology within itself, because each episode is like a drug-induced dream, so it can go from one genre to the next. Just think about the craziest dreams you've had in your life, but they're all explaining things about the characters.
So, like, what's going on in their mind?
Okay. The first 2 episodes set up the backstories, the real backstories. And I must add that Jonah Hill's character has real trouble of defining what is real and what isn't, so he's pretty much schizophrenic.
Okay.
So that is one of the reasons for his depression as well, because he has completely lost touch with reality. And taking a drug such as that is going to mess with his mind even more, because he's going to be thinking, were those dreams real?
Sure.
But I'm not going to say even more than that, because these characters are together, drawn together for a reason. But I've never seen a show like it in the way it's made. When I've pitched it to you there, you've got to be thinking, how do you invest emotionally in this?
Sure.
When an episode can go from a fantasy episode, like literally one of the episodes is like being in the Lord of the Rings, till the next being somewhere completely different, set in the 90s in LA, set amongst the backdrop of drug gangs. So it goes from Boys in the Hood to Lord of the Rings.
Boys in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but
that's all right. I'm watching that now.
It's Legolas doing a drive-by.
He's like Denzel Washington in Gangster.
But it's amazing, and what is key for me, as I've mentioned, is you really believe about these characters. You care about them. I cried during episode 2. I'm gonna admit it.
You're a man enough to say. Of course you are.
I've said I cry every single Real Talk episode. I'm just showing everyone that.
He's a human being.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. He's a human.
Just watch it, please, and let us know what you think.
I mean, really, I still haven't been able to see it, but I was convinced to watch it once I saw that Jonah Hill and Emma Stone.
Yeah.
And their chemistry from the trailers I was able to see looked like they were able to connect really well. Jonah Hill as well. Can we take a second?
Yeah, he's an awesome actor.
But also, how skinny has he gotten? I mean, I watched Wolf of Wall Street 2 days ago.
Yeah, he's completely different guy.
Completely different than Donnie.
But it's not uncomfortable to see. It doesn't seem unnatural. You know,
no.
People are talking like he's done a Christian Bale in The Machinist. He's not. Yeah. He's not done that.
Him.
He looks healthier. He's done it for himself. I don't think he's done it for the role specifically, because you see him in interviews now, and I think he said, some idiot reporter said, "Why did you get skinny, and do you feel better about yourself?" or something like that, just making him
feel bad.
Yeah,
really,
like saying he should have been the Hollywood fat guy. That's literally what the reporter said to him, and he's like, "I've got skinny to
be healthier
and happy." Sad. And it goes with his career choice. Like, even though no one should be speaking to him like saying you're that Hollywood fat guy, that's probably what he was trying to get away from in the first place.
I mean, you're looking at
speaking to him like that.
You're looking at his counterparts that were in like The Hangover. Bradley Cooper, he had to shed that nice guy, that comedy guy, to be in A Star Is Born.
Exactly.
And Jonah Hill had to really change his skin.
He's been really conscious about getting rid of that, and he did that in one of the quickest turnarounds I've seen in Hollywood. You mentioned Bradley Cooper. He's definitely on the same wavelength. They got rid of that skin real quick.
Sure.
Like a snake shedding its skin.
Exactly. And with Emma Stone, there's no way that you're not going to watch anything with Emma Stone.
Superbad reunion as well.
I haven't even thought about that. Yeah, of course.
Superbad reunion.
Man, that film. That's a great film.
They're both completely different people.
Completely different characters.
Who would have thought that Emma Stone would become one of the greatest living actresses today?
And the way that they've split off from Superbad, really.
Yeah, amazing. Michael Cera, McLovin, what happened to you?
I don't know, man. He's still
Christopher
popping around.
Mintz-Plasse, that's his name.
Christopher Mintz-Plasse. Yeah. Well, the last thing I remember him was Bad Neighbors. Remember that?
Yeah. He was in Kick-Ass as well.
He was in Kick-Ass, yeah.
On the other hand, Michael Cera is just, since Scott Pilgrim, really just never been seen again.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But is that it for today?
That is it for today, Damian.
We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We love talking about movies. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like Jamal has said. Yeah. It's really just down there, somewhere down there. And subscribe.
Halloween review next week.
Yeah.
And you want to do a Halloween themed episode?
We'll do a Halloween themed episode. We'll talk about some of our favorites, and then of course.
I think as well we could see Mandy in time for next week's show. Maybe
keep
if
it
we can
all.
find a cinema.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
Cool.
Brilliant. So thank you so much, guys, for watching as ever. We will see you next time.
See you guys.